What's up? Welcome back. Today we're in the East Bay at Metro Skate Camp and we are going to show you how to hand pour some coping. So this is a little indoor zone and the ramp is pretty condensed and there's a lot going on, but the cradle was unfinished and basically had some wood sticking out of the top still, and they wanted to cut it all down and cap it off with some concrete coping. So your first couple steps are just building a base for all of your concrete to sit in and a back form for you to finish up against. So what we did was we just found any wood around the ramp that we could scrap, 2x4s, plywood. So we had to frame a little flat surface there and then add a back form so that this mud just doesn't fall off the back of the ramp. So once you have your base framed out and you like what you have, I think it's smart to throw a little plastic in there, and all that's gonna do is allow this moisture to stay in your concrete a little bit longer and not escape through the bottom, so in turn maybe it cures a little harder. You could do rebar, you could do wire mesh. We used chicken wire. It was just something that we had laying around, and it puts something in the concrete at least for when it cracks, it doesn't separate. We also drilled screws into the framing every foot so that this concrete has something else to bite to. Since this is becoming the coping for the ramp, it's gonna get hit, it's gonna get grinded, it's gonna get pushed on a bunch, heavy weight. Do as much as you can to reinforce it and lock it into place. So the materials that we use today for this concrete coping is the Sakrete 5000 PSI high strength concrete mix. This is just gonna be a little stronger of a mix than your regular bags of Sakrete. It'll have a tendency to chip less, it'll probably grind better and last longer. Another little trick we did was for each one bag of Sakrete that we mixed, we did 2 or 3 big cups of straight Portland cement. All this is gonna do is make your mud a little creamier. Since sometimes these bags don't come as creamy as they would a concrete plant, add a little extra Portland, it's gonna give you extra cream to work with. When you mix this mud, you don't want a wet, soupy mix. You want to mix it dry because your coping is going to need some reveal. You know, it's going to need to stick out beyond the ramp, and we don't have a form right there. So mix your batch drier so that when you throw your mud in there, it's able to overhang but still stick and set up without sagging too much. How do you make the reveal of this coping? We had some 2.5-inch ABS pipe laying around, plastic, just like PVC. So all we did was we cut that pipe into a little section like this, screwed a 2x4 block on it. There's your little hand trowel for the coping. You want to get your mud in there, scrub the top of it flat, have the face of it built out more than you want. Once you cut that shape, don't touch it. Then you're gonna go through all your typical finishing steps. You know, once we go from the resin, then we're gonna go to the steel. Then you could come back to this tool and you could kind of wet up that edge of your coping. This PVC, this plastic, will give it a nice slicked finish. So for an obstacle like this, since we're finishing it, troweling it super smooth, I think that the spray paint clear coat is just fine. You get it anywhere, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, and that should be plenty to get this thing grinding. So that is the hand poured coping episode. This is a cheap option for your DIY backyard garage ramp. It's easy to rip out if you messed it up. Now this obstacle is pretty brutal. It's hard to get an angle at. It's gonna be gnarly to get tricks on. So we're gonna get some homies in here and we're gonna see what the hell we could do on this thing. Grunge becomes mandatory when you're hand pouring coping.